Good evening and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. The session will run over the next 60 minutes, including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. I would now like to welcome Jigar, our speaker for today's session. Jigar is a partner and senior solutions architect with TechScalable and has 16 plus years of experience. He has trained more than 25,000 plus IT professionals across the globe. He is also a Microsoft certified trainer. But for now, I will hand over to Jigar to begin the session. Over to you, Jigar.
Yeah, hi Rashmita. Thanks for sharing. Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well and keeping good. So let's get started today's session. Let me share my screen and then we can move forward. We'll first of all talk about the agenda, what we are planning to cover up in today's session and how we are going ahead with it. For meanwhile, I'll just keep my camera off so that we can focus on the session and then we can continue with learning in that case. So just a second, let me share my screen. Okay, so I hope you guys can see my screen. So today we are going to discuss regarding so initially the agenda or the overall objective of today's session is that first of all, we're going to talk about the flashback. So when I say flashback, that means there was a previous reactor session got conducted on predictable basketball player efficiency rating, which was like those rating basically got predicted using machine learning. And today we're gonna take a look at it that the same machine learning data, how we can utilize in terms of working with our particular web application. So our front end will be a kind of static web app, and at the same time we can use that specific data which was filtered, exported into the CSV format, and that is something we can map in our particular application code, which is something developed with some standard programming language. So ML, the specific backend engine, what we are planning to utilize from the data point of view, that will be like ML using a Python scripts. Whereas we're going to have a particular front end with our particular static web app with Azure static websites, and that is something what we are going to take a look at it. The demo part will give you the insight, and that's the second objective. And third most important factor is that at the end of this learning, let's say as a part of the data science learning program, if I wanted to specialize and develop similar kind of artifacts and build a certain solutions which works on top of these kind of like applications or solutions out of the box, what will be what could be the way to go ahead, how you guys can involve your day-to-day learning and probably work on that. So here the last but not least, the further learning links shared. So since when you guys have registered from the meetup and also you must have received this particular link which has a particular proper step-by-step learning journey. So I recommend that all of you guys to complete this particular learning journey by logging in with your Outlook or whatever the account you are registered with that Microsoft Learn portal. So that will basically that's basically ongoing learning experience point you're gonna accumulate from the Microsoft portal, and that's how you're gonna continue learning with those particular module as well. So just go through with that, and that's how you're gonna have the complete journey in place. So before starting, just give you a particular background. So Space Jam, I'm not sure how many of you have heard about it. So maybe if you guys want, you can take a look at it, the movie trailer as well. So this movie is based on the basketball, the sports related movie, and it has some particular story where the basketball player's son got uh, he get lost in terms of artificial world, and inside that the player also get he follow him to find where his son lost and all, and he just go back into that same world, and there will be a jam up with some particular cartoon characters. The one of the special or maybe one of my favorite cartoon as well, that the Bugs Bunny, if you guys have seen. So it's a jam up with that cartoon characters, and the basketball player supposed to win the match and all that stuff and bring his son back. So this is basically a kind of uh, fun loving movie in terms of from the kids point of view and all. Now, what was the agenda behind this particular movie to be combined with this ML, or what this movie is supposed to do with this particular overall machine learning, or how it is something we can implement that with our particular activity and all. So, technically speaking, uh, nowadays we must have observed that many sports activities are going on, right? And majority of those particular sports activity requires that people supposed to get some sort of informations from the sports, and those informations like relative to a variety of activities, maybe the competitors team, their existing team strength, the players who gonna play that particular sports, and most important thing is the data, that which is something going to be like generated at the end of that particular each and every single event, right? Where when you have like sports like basketballs or cricket, or there are variety of sports where you see many people involved, it's a kind of team player like football and all that. So in such kind of events, the basically coach who is working on the team, who is like training teams and all, and works on strategies and many other particular stuffs, right? So they need certain kind of data in place. So they need to figure it out that how they can use these particular data strategically and plan their players effective usage in their particular game, right? So for example, maybe some particular matches may require whoever is the star player, they might need that, okay, if they are probably not gonna play in that game, or if they get some particular rest, then maybe next big games or finals or quarterfinals or semifinals and all, where they need their star player to play and all. Now how these particular prediction they can make it, how they're gonna plan their particular activity, how they're gonna judge that, okay, what will be the opponent, and what kind of opponent play in terms of these particular games and all. So how they are going to predict those particular informations. So ultimate goal over here is that the machine learning provides a variety of you can say predictive models. So usually we do two type of prediction, right? One is like real time prediction, second is you can say a predictive analysis. So real time analysis and predictive analysis, in both of them a slight difference. So real time, I can say probably the ongoing weather forecast, or probably you can say a particular share market where the prices are, the index prices are going up and down. So it will be live tracking of that particular price, right? So there are many activities, probably you can say, which requires real-time analysis, and you need to provide insight on that specific data. Something similar to that. Predictive analysis is more about providing historical data, ingest that particular historical data on top of it, and you may have some sort of a data model which basically renders your data and get some sort of result at the end of that particular rendering. So overall objective is that in this particular what do you say, the demo or probably the activity what we are going to take a look at it, just for time saving I did a couple of readiness for this particular module. So it's more about I have kept some particular code references ready. I have kept some particular steps kind of available so that we can touch base on those particular areas. We understand that what is the usage of that particular Python code is something rendering our particular machine learning model and basically predict on our specific data. So that will help you to understand that how you can segregate your particular ML based output which gets combined with your particular a web application, which is something I can say a kind of static web app. So when you say static web app, the backend will be developed with some particular front-end technologies like HTML, or you can say JavaScript, CSS, and some standard formatting will be combined inside that. And then you can have some sort of result going on. So here, first of all, to begin with, or to understand that what is the objective, what are the things we are going to work with it, and we understand what are the data we are going to capture. So that will help us in terms of utilizing some standard machine learning model, integrate that with our particular existing result or the data what we are populating, and how that exported result can merge with your particular static web app. So at the end of the day, when you are up and running with your particular application, then it will give you some sort of regular input, because the end result when you push your machine learning data, definitely you can export your machine learning data as in web service or as an API driven output, so that whenever you make a query, you can render some particular data and get some particular predictive result at the end. So this is basically a kind of fun loving activity. I must say that if you guys are really interested in terms of working on variety of tools, so the tools what we are planning to utilize in this particular entire what do you say, the demo or activity is that first of all, you all need Visual Studio Code. So it's an open source tool chain which you guys can download and install on your particular local machine. And on top of that, we need couple of additional tool. It's extension and as well as some sort of framework, which is something expected to work with the local development environment. So the extension what we need is that we need Python extension for Visual Studio Code. We also need extension for Azure account and as well as Azure account extension for Visual Studio Code. So Azure account, probably you need to build and deploy your static web app on top of it, right? So that is something expected to build and host your particular services on top of. And for that, definitely you need Azure subscription plus the Azure account extension for Visual Studio Code. So that will help you to connect Azure subscription from your local development environment and all. We will be using GitHub account. So basically GitHub will help you in terms of creating your GitHub Actions, connecting to your particular Azure subscription, and basically it will help you to push your static web app using this particular GitHub account. So at the end of the day, when we are publishing any particular code, or when we push our particular application code into the system, then it works effectively, and that is something gonna be ingested as in data into that specific system. And last but not least, you need Azure Static Web App extension. Now, when you are going ahead with this particular extension, so this will help you to deploy your particular web app as in static web app. Right now, this particular service is in preview. So when you are installing it, you will definitely get a notification that, hey, this service is in preview. So probably you may get some change or update in terms of the underlying services and all that. So that kind of maybe activity you might gonna do it. So let's take a look at it. What will be the offering and how this looks like. So first of all, what we're gonna do is that we'll understand the overall architecture. Okay, how this entire architecture looks like, what we are planning to create in this particular activity, and how this entire like sequence, or maybe you can say a simple steps looks like, which will helpful to you in terms of building and hosting your particular static web app on top of the Azure platform and all, right? So that's basically a kind of objective what we are planning to take a look at it. So usually there are two sections I can say during this particular entire process. So the first part where you can say that you will be end up working on your you can say GitHub account. So you need GitHub, and you need Azure account. Okay. When I say Azure account, it will be your subscription where underneath you will be working on it, and it will be a kind of option where you can build and deploy this static web app, right? Now, what all the activities we are going to perform, how this entire particular flow looks like, and what all the activity you are going to do. So first of all, it will start from the GitHub, right? So you may have your particular standard branches in place, so that those branches are like pretty much straightforward, where you can simply consider that maybe you may have your particular application code, and you can simply build and deploy your particular overall environment, what you are expecting as in code reference into your system, right? So you may have your particular branches in place, and at the end of the day, you will be hosting your particular code repositories and other particular stuff, right? So usually we build our branches, we go ahead and say that, hey, my code repos and other stuff are going to be pushed into the specific repo, right? So you have your push pull request. Now, once you have your push pull request in place, you will be working with your particular repo to be created. You may have your particular proper branches and folder structures in place. You may create your particular source code inside that, and definitely when you are developing locally, so you just need to publish your particular application code, push it into your Git repo, and that's how you're gonna work effectively into your particular solution, right? So once you have your particular code repo ready, the next step, majority you're gonna work in terms of like pushing your particular application code in your Git repo so that it works effectively and you can have some effective deployment process in place, right? So you may end up creating your Git repos. So in this particular Git repo, you're gonna publish your application code from local to GitHub, and at the end of the day, when this application is going to be like build and deploy, then this is something you're gonna have it in place with some standard activity. So as and when you commit your particular application code, you will be like pushing that particular commit operation, and at the same time you prefer to have some sort of GitHub Actions in place, right? So those are some sort of like standard workflow. You may get it or you may configure it. So it will be helpful in terms of how you're gonna execute your code, what kind of like steps you can have it in place, and all those particular activities will be part of it. Now, in general, people who are not familiar with GitHub Actions, maybe if you're hearing first time, then just for your information that GitHub Action is majority offering you CI/CD based platform which allows you to automate your build, test, and deployment pipeline so that you can create some sort of workflow. And that workflow basically triggers your build and test related activities in terms of whether you go ahead and perform pull requests or deploy or merge pool and all that stuff. So in such particular activities, the GitHub Actions gonna helpful to you in terms of creating such sort of flows, right? So ultimately, it goes beyond you are not just going ahead with DevOps, and it will let you execute some sort of workflow and any specific events which you require to execute within your repo. Say for example, you want to run workflow to automatically add some labels to your push, or someone creates new issue in your repositories and all, and you just wanted to push it into automated systems and all. So the ultimate goal over here is that GitHub Actions provides certain kind of workflows. You can run those workflows on any platform like Linux, Windows, Mac OS, or anywhere. Or maybe if you have anything, your own like self-hosted GitHub environment. Also, in such case, also you get it those GitHub Actions workflow and all. So ultimate goal over here from GitHub Action is to give you a kind of standardized workflow which you can trigger whenever the event occurs in your repo. Like somebody pull the repo, somebody push the repo, somebody merge the repo, and you just wanted to perform some activities or jobs or any sort of activities on top of it. So those kind of stuff you can create. And basically the workflow what you create, those workflows are like it's defined like an YAML file where you can have some sort of instructions given inside that, and whatever the actions and instructions you provide inside that, the overall activity may get flow, right? So that's basically the overall high-end overview of GitHub as in action. So if you are going ahead with that specific actions to be created, then with the GitHub you may have your particular GitHub repos along with some sort of actions, right? So those actions are, you can consider that it will be a kind of way to go. I mean, in terms of if you're planning to push your particular application code, or you wanted to define your workflow and all that stuff, then maybe you can simply go ahead and have your particular activities in place. So ultimate goal from action to give you some sort of flow based activity, right? As we discussed that it will just simply give you a kind of way to deploy your particular application code, and you may just simply end up creating your actions, and it will helpful to you in terms of planning and triggering your particular activities. Now ultimate goal over here is that when you have your particular actions in place, so you will be configuring. So let's say once you have your actions are in place, you are going ahead with a particular deployment, or in the territory of the Azure, where you just need to build and host your particular solutions on top of it, right? Now, definitely, I mean, there are multiple way to host your particular solutions. Maybe you can simply go ahead with microservice. You may have your APIs hosted and developed accordingly. Right now, for this particular example or the demo, we just need a simple flat web app. So inside the Azure, you may have a specific static web app to be created, right? So you may end up creating your static web application. Definitely, you can have your particular region and all that specifics to be created, right? So you will end up creating your particular environment, and with such environment you will be creating a particular static web app in a multiple way, right? So the way of creating multiple web app is that you can simply have your web app to be built and deployed, let's say via PowerShell. You can create it via ARM template. So variety of options are available. So you will be like simply creating your application, and inside that specific application you will end up like what do you say, writing your particular standard code, and this code will be Probably, as I said, like it's a front end, so definitely you will be end up writing your particular code. Specifically, if you are looking for some interactive component and all, then definitely JavaScript based or some sort of like JS library based solution you may expect, right? So you will be going ahead with your static web app. So your static content, so your static content will be part of it. Inside that particular, you may end up building this particular application in the form of, like, you can say HTML, you may have your particular JavaScript, and you can have some particular standard CSS. So combining all that, you will be hosting that particular services or maybe application code on top of static web app, right? So this is basically the service what you gonna utilize in terms of Azure to build and host the simple workflow. So this is like simple straightforward activity what you are going ahead with it in terms of building the application, and then at the end of the day user can interact with that applications, and then they can access the overall solutions what they are looking at it. So ultimate goal over here is to create a simple workflow, and you can have or to be more precise, like the development workflow, and you can have that combination of machine learning modules and other stuff to be embedded within this. Now to do so, what I have done, I have created a particular what do you call the Visual Studio environment, the Visual Studio Code environment. So you can just simply run as an admin. If so, right now what I did, I mean, if you guys have Azure subscriptions in place and you just wanted to play along with it, and you are planning to work with your overall activity, then what is expected, how you can work with it, how you can create your particular structures and other particular stuff. So what I did, I mean, let me give you a little bit brief. So from the development front, what I did, that I have created a virtual machine in Azure itself, and set up the like Visual Studio Code and all the tool chain inside that. So the advantage is that it will become a kind of remote development environment. So if you guys are working in collaborative way, and I mean, this is like one of the workaround. I mean, maybe there are many, but this is like simple and straightforward, where people can work together, and maybe they can share the same resources. So this is like a kind of simple way. I mean, you just have a particular Visual Studio Code installed, and there are a couple of extensions available. So as we discussed, to work with this particular prerequisite will be Python. So you just need a particular Python extension pack. So there are two options. Okay, I mean, if you search, then there are, you will see like a lot of different extensions available from the Python or any other particular library point of view. So right now, maybe simple. One of the option is you can simply go ahead with Python extension pack. So you will get some combination of the tools. So you don't need to install them separately. It will be like part of this entire package, and then it will get installed. And if in case anything you missed out, probably you can separately install it and configure. You also need Azure static web app. Okay, so here there is a static web app extension. Just mark that right now it's under preview, this particular service. So by default, usually you get that particular label default available on this extension as well. So here I can say usually preview and GA. GA stands for generally available. So there are two types of services. Preview is like more on public preview, where people can test, validate, and dump, and do some particular trial and error kind of with that particular service. Whereas GA, generally available, is like you can simply go ahead and build and host your production ready solutions on top of it. So it will give you some sort of like a kind of standard working environment kind of activities and all. So you just need Azure static web apps. You also need Azure account extension. Okay, So if you just say Azure, okay, so here you will get a particular different Azure tool related activity. So if you say Azure tool, here is the list of the services available. Around 12 extensions will be embedded. Of course you have a choice. If you want to go one by one, you can do so, but there are some predefined extension packs are there, so you can simply go ahead and embed those particular extension pack into the system. So these are some common extension packs required. Now coming back to like the dev environment, so as I mentioned that couple of elements I have created. Say for example, I have created a particular local Jupyter book where we can have a simple kind of machine learning model implemented, which help us in terms of performing this, getting the ratings of the players, and basically at the end of the entire flow we can predict that what will be who will be the player we can pick and choose during this particular entire game or during this entire space jam, right? So that will help you in terms of predicting certain kind of activity. So in general, the role of this particular the script is to give you some sort of analysis on top of the existing data. So we do have some particular CSV files like game statistics, player data, the final CSV as an output, or we do have tune squad. So tune squad is basically, it's more about who all are coming from that Bugs Bunny characters. So the list of Bugs Bunny characters and who will be playing in that particular Toon Squad. So that is something the listing is given. The player data, where we can have some particular player informations, their team related data, their particular what do you call, some sort of operational informations, that what is their performance, what is their height, and lot many informations will be part of it. So ultimate goal over here is that to give you some predefined ingested data, which you can bring it into your machine learning model, and at the end of the day it will help you to like predict that which player plays in this particular upcoming game, and you can jam up with the Lee Brown. So he's the Lee Brown James, he is the player of the basketball, and then you will get those insights from the specific data. So ultimate goal over here is that the data will be captured, data is available, it's captured and stored into respective CSV files, and we are utilizing those CSVs in terms of working with this particular machine learning code. Now it may be possible sometimes while going through with the Microsoft Learn steps, right? So it may be possible that if you are installing and setting up this particular environment first time, then you may end up getting some errors as well, right? Maybe the package or the library errors and all that. So definitely, I mean, you have to make sure that you can install them, you can import those packages. There are some Python command line interface CLIs are there, which those commands will helpful to you in terms of setting up the environment, like pip install, you can say regression machine learning model, or you may need machine learning random model to predict the random data and all that. So in such case, or maybe you can say the any specific Python library also. If you see some particular error, definitely you just need to play around with it and maybe just make sure that you import them. And of course, I mean, since you are working with Visual Studio Code, so you will get certain kind of notifications and you can easily predict that. Now here, the objective is that we're gonna have first of all importing all the CSV files, because end of the day we gonna run our machine learning model on top of our particular players and tune the cartoon characters squad, right? So we have like player final data, we have tune squad data, and combining these two particular data, we're gonna have some sort of the specific rendering on top of it. So the ultimate goal over here is that we are capturing the game statistics informations as an result. and inside that this entire statistic is going to give you some particular player related informations, that what is their strength in terms of playing that game, what kind of activities they're going to perform, how what kind of like overall output they're gonna have. Say for example, how many points they have gained in so far in matches what they have played, and all those kind of data will be there, right? So here if I simply just say that I have like prepared this particular model, and if I render this particular model, then definitely it will help me to predict some sort of result at the end of this entire execution. And you will get some particular iteration with the overall result, that who will be the player, who is the player efficiency rating wise, who will be the highest one, and per minute productivity. So when somebody is playing on code, so what is their particular player proficiency or their particular efficiency rating. Based on that, you can pick and choose that particular player and create your particular gem up for your particular activity. So there are different kind of prediction, there are different data we are calculating. So basically we are collecting data in terms of player identification, who will be the unique player from that toon squad or from the existing player squad what we have, how many scored they have scored by player in each season, right? We're gonna have some sort of team pace. So as you see, like team pace and all that, some data you're gonna calculate it. So it's more about like average number of possession as a team uses per game. So how they're gonna have each player they're gonna predict and all. Game played, GP is more about like there will be some sort of data you're gonna collect it. So GP is more like number of game played by a player in a specific season. So ultimate goal over here is that we need a particular predictive data. Like let's say in basketball match, definitely you know that the player, like what is the average minute that particular player played, what was the MPG and TS. So MPG is like it's more about average minutes played by player, and TS percentage they check it out. So TS is like more about you can say trust shooting percentage. So when like players shoot the ball and also what was the percentage, and also accordingly they can build the team and they can have a proper accuracy in that entire sequence. So ultimate goal over here is that it will be a kind of activity what you are going to build. You're going to have a particular overall structure, and this particular data is going to helpful in terms of gathering your machine learning data in terms of exporting and all. So we will be having a machine learning model based on the player data, right? So each toon squad or as well as the existing basketball professional players data what we have, we can get the PER. So PER is like that player efficiency, right? So that is something what we're gonna get it, and based on that we can build our entire team, right? So ultimate goal is that uh, per game, what is the overall ratings we can get it from each particular player, and based on that we can come up with our final output, that okay, the specific machine learning model will help us in terms of training that particular model based on player data, right? So that's basically we are planning to utilize in this. Now if you take a look at it in this particular code, so we will be having some sort of the machine learning data rendering with that, and it's more about like we are going ahead with linear regression. So that will help us in terms of predicting data with each respective player related information. So it's a kind of linear regression library what we're gonna use it in terms of working with it. There are A variety of you can say machine learning modules are available. And of course, I mean, if you are really willing to learn, or you wanted to get into like going ahead with data science program from Microsoft Learn as well, so there are variety of modules are part of it. And I strongly recommend that. That will really helpful in terms of going through with that learning journey as well. But in general, right now we're going to have a linear regression in place, right? So that will help us in terms of getting the data model. We get some sort of recommendation or ratings around the based on the data ingested into the system, and it will help us to get the information. Now here, if you see the import statement in our code, okay, so that linear regressions and other particular like data what we have imported into the system. So it may be possible while working with that import statement, you may face some particular error, right? So this is selected area like from sklearn.linear model import linear regressions and as well as random countdown kind of thing. So these particular models may not be straightforward available. So I recommend, I mean, you can just simply go ahead and say pip install linear regression. So that will helpful to you in terms of getting those modules got imported into the system, and then that is something you can utilize for your application code. So in general, you will get this particular the regression model built out, and on top of that this particular regression model, you will get the statistics of each player related information, like what is the trust shoot, what is the pre, what is the like overall average time player has spent on the code, or what will be the overall performance and other stuff. You get it throughout this particular rendering model. Now this model is going to give you some predictive information, and like you can say iteration, high PER, low PER, who is like highest PER player who is passing that particular ball, and like all that particular stuff will be part of it. So you get those particular information as a part of it. Now once you have this particular system in place, the most important factor is to give you some fictional game data, right? Because end of the day, this fictional data is going to ingested into your system. Okay, so as soon as you render this, you will get some sort of overall data as an output, and this particular information will become part of your overall structure what you are going ahead with the step-by-step activity. So first thing in place, you need to create your particular web app, and for the same you need your particular what do you call the GitHub account and all. So what I have done, that I have created GitHub account over here. I have prepared my particular repo, and I have pushed my particular sample application code as well. So when you are going ahead from scratch, definitely you will be following some steps, and during that particular steps following, you will be like creating your repo first thing in place, and at the end of the day, you will go ahead with step by step application code publishing and all that. So first thing in place, you need to create your particular application code, your repo. You will be pushing your particular application code repository structures and all that. And most importantly, at the end of the day, like you will be publishing your particular application code. So for example, if I wanted to follow the similar kind of activity and all, so what I need to do is that I just need to go to my browser and say simply my template application app. So you just need to log in. I am already logged in, so it is showing me. So you just need to log in, and what you need to do is that you just need to provide your appropriate repo name. So maybe let's say space jam. I'm just creating one more because I already have one. You can keep that repo right now publicly and will include all the branches, whatever we wanted. So you can just simply create the template from the structure what we have. And once the structure will be part of it, you may just need to simply like have your code structures and other stuff into place, because this is something what we're gonna use in our step-by-step activity. Okay, so what you need is that you need to clone this repo by using our Visual Studio Code. So we are just going to utilize our code structure, the link and other stuff. So for example, in this, make sure that we copy our URL, and let's say so in this we can have file, new window, and inside this new window we will work on creating our like structure, right? So to create that particular structure, what you need to do is that there is a shortcut which will helpful to you in terms of creating your uh, command. So here you can say git clone, you can paste the URL. This is basically what we are looking at it. And on your particular local folder, maybe you can just simply select your folder. If you do not have any, then just simply say desktop, new folder, and say space hyphen jam hyphen. So you can just select the repo location and simply say open. So this will basically open up your particular code and whatever the structure you want. Now here, you need a particular application code structure needs to be followed. Okay, because end of the day, this is something going to be deployed or built on top of your particular environment. So what we need to do is that we just need simple activity to be followed. Now before this, we can just simply create a static web app in Azure, so that later stage when we deploy this particular application code, it will be available and you can have some particular information in place. Now to do that, uh, I have many extensions in place to work with it. So I'll just minimize and say static web app. Yeah. So in this particular static web app, what we are going to do is that we just need to simply have our particular application to be followed. So you can select your predefined subscriptions. Now, right now I have my one sample deployed, so I'll just create one more. So you can say create a static web app, and it will prompt you in terms of pushing your what do you say, application name and other particular parameters. So first of all, I'll go ahead with the same name like space jam a new legacy app demo. It will ask you that which region you wanted to deploy this particular application code. So probably you can pick and choose the choice of your region. So I'll say it's US2. What is the application type you are going ahead? So definitely when you're building your applications, you have multiple choice, though it's a static web app. So as I said, like all JS library will be part of it, and you can just simply go ahead and build the activity the way you are looking at it. So right now I'll just say, okay, I would like to go ahead with a custom web app, and it's just the path of your application folder. We just need to follow that. Okay, I wanted my this application code to go in the location of my repo as in build version of it. Okay, so these are some standard informations you just need to provide. Now, if you see at the bottom, the entire structure gets created, and it creates your successfully, it will create a particular web app for you. Okay, so here if you observe on the left hand side of the panel, it is like your production website, which is for deployment. Right now it's in progress. Okay, and it is a combination of your particular git. So if you observe, it provides you all the detail that okay, this application is embedded with GitHub account. You have static workflow supposed to be created when you pull push your application code, and this is something completely like go ahead with the overall deployment of your particular web page, what you are going ahead, right? So ultimate goal over here is that it will give you a kind of standard structure. And let's say if I take a look at it in my workflow, so here is your workflow. Right now if you see, deployment is in progress, right? So this is something showcasing over here that your CI/CD is getting engaged with Azure portal, and it is deploying your particular web app. So by default, it will go and step by step perform this activity into the system. So once this is done, we will have our code ready. Our application will be up and running, and we can at least see the sample page of our web app as an output. So uh, let's wait for a minute, and once that is ready, we will be in a better position to view the code. Now, the application code, okay, so there are a couple of extension and couple of steps are given as an entire workflow. So I suggest that to go through with this, you can install one more particular what do you call the extension over here. I'll come to that point. But if you see over here right now, the successfully build deploy is done. The app demo commit and push changes to my GitHub, and then from there it got pushed to my web app. So there are two ways to view this application. Either you can say browse website from here, or else you can browse on your production environment, right click and say browse website. So it will take you to the page. If all goes well, then you have your particular structure ready. Now right now, I mean the flow, if I wanted to explain the how the entire application flow. So in general, you will get some sort of activity, because those activities are going to be like you can say follow in terms of creating and working with that application structure, and at the end of the day you will be testing that specific application as an final output. So right now this is my demo page, and this was something I have earlier created. So you can say this is basically you're gonna select these statistics. We're gonna have a game stats data available in place. So right now it won't work because there is no functionality. If all coding part and all when you ingest, so we are going to write a particular JavaScript code, which is something allowing me to create my player library. So whatever the toon squad we have, or they all are going to be listed out over here, and you may add them into like a basketball court, and then you can start the game and you can see the average ratings or efficiency of that specific player playing in that particular environment. So for example, if I say choose my game stat, click on open, and here if you see that each player wise, right now I mean in water break currently these players are on bench, and these are like probably if this is what their statistics and you just wanted to add them, then you click on it, and they will go in that specific list. Okay, and if you start the game, then you will see the what is the average player efficiency rate, you're gonna get it. So this particular data is coming from our machine learning model that uh, based on the input given, what will be the average player efficiency ratings, and based on that, if we have added this particular number of players, then how you want to go further and how you can increase the overall efficiency by selecting right player from the list what you have. So this is like a kind of predictive way. So in second Q2, let's say you wanted to change something and you wanted to achieve a particular standard PER, then you may end up adding or removing a number of players, and that's at the end of the day you can decide that which Q1 or which Q2 or Q3 you want your players to play in that specific section. So that will help you to get more predictive result, and you can have more chances to win that specific game as well. So ultimate goal over here is to give you a kind of predictive analysis and kind of effective way to identify the player ratings and other activities throughout the cycle. Now, as I said that during this particular activity, what you guys gonna do is that there are some step-by-step activity given. So for example, once you have your web app in place, you will be using this CodeTour. Okay, so this CodeTour tool gonna helpful to you in terms of, if you go to your code explorer, here is the CodeTour, and this tour gonna help you in terms of, in this entire JS file, what all the sequence you need to follow and what all the steps you need to fulfill during this entire exercise. So that will be basically a complete steps given to you. Like let's say first create variable, read stat data, add your player in bench or player cards, and variety of steps are there. So I recommend that please go through with this. This is really interesting and interactive game, building statistics and ratings of the players. So I recommend strongly that you guys can go through with it and work on this particular activity. So yeah, I think we are good to like wrap up kind of thing with today's session. If in case any queries or questions, you are feel free to ask. Okay, Sanket says share screen. I think I was sharing. I hope everybody is able to view the screen. Yeah, Rashmita, over to you. I'm good with my demo, and I hope everybody liked it, and definitely all of you guys go back and retry this. So that will really like interactive one.
Thank you, Jigar. So we'll just wait for some time. In case if you have any questions, you can just unmute your mic and you can ask your questions. I have enabled the mic for everybody. So while we are waiting for questions, please do share your feedback about today's session, and also please feel free to use the Learn module link shared in the chat section. This will give you access to additional resources to take your learning further. Also, please visit our Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming sessions. We'll just give it a minute.
Sure.
Jigar coordinates you will find on the meetup page. If you have any questions later, you can feel free to reach out to him directly.
Yep, absolutely.
I think we are good for today, Jigar. Thank you so
Okay.
much for the
Thank
session,
you.
and thank you all for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.